the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening. This is the National News Telecast. I'm Hettiarachi.
A very good evening to you. I'm Sharif Tahir. Let's take a look at the headlines.
අස්වැසුම වැඩසටහන සමෘද්ධි හෝ සමෘද්ධි බැංකු අඩපණ කරන්නක් නොවන බව මුදල් රාජ්‍ය ඇමති කියයි. ඉදිකිරීම් ක්ෂේත්‍රයේ පුනර්ජීවනයක් ඇති කිරීමට රජයේ අවධානය. ජාතික ගීය පැරදි ලෙස
We move on to local news in detail now. State Minister of Finance Jehan Semasinga said that Aswasuma is not a program to undermine the Samruddhi movement or the Samruddhi banks. He said that acceptance of applications for Aswasuma 2024 is to commence as soon as appeals and objections are reviewed.
It was decided to extend the Samruddhi allowance to 393,494 families who are not qualified for the Aswasuma from among the families currently receiving Samruddhi subsidiary until the appeals objections process is concluded. He expressed these views today during a press conference themed The Collective Path to a Stable Country held at the Presidential Media Centre. State Minister Jehan Semasinga stated that the statements will be made to start the accepting of new applications for Aswasuma Social Welfare Benefits Program for the year 2024 as soon as appeals and objections that have been submitted will be reviewed. This minister also mentioned that preliminary work is being done on the appeals and objections received by the divisional secretariats. He further said that 1,280,000 families who are receiving Samruddhi benefits have applied for Aswasuma, out of which 887,653 families have qualified. The appeals and objections have been submitted will be reviewed and the arrangements will be made to start accepting new applications as soon as it is complete. The minister said 1,792,265 beneficiaries have been selected for the initial step of the Aswasuma program by the Welfare Benefits Board. Relief is to be provided for 2 million families, and after consideration of appeals and objections, it will be possible to reach the target. Meanwhile, for the elderly, kidney and disabled people receiving assistance, it will be paid as previously. Accordingly, arrangements have been made for provide elderly allowances through the post offices and kidney and disabled allowance through the divisional secretariats. The minister said 11,660 people in elderly homes, children's homes, disabled centers and religious places will receive allowances through a change until new policy is formulated. Meanwhile, Welfare Benefits Board has received details of 1 million accounts for payments and government requests the eligible people to open accounts as soon as possible to receive the benefits.
The Met Department says that mainly dry weather will prevail in many areas of the island within next 2 months. The department attributes this adverse weather pattern to global climatic changes. Western Sabaragamu provinces and the Galle and Mathura district will have occasional showers in the coming weeks. Dry weather will prevail in all other areas during the coming months. The Met Department forecasts heavy winds up to 40 to 50 kilometers per hour at times in the western slopes of the Central Hills, northern, north central, southern and northwestern provinces and in the Trincomalee district. Kirindiyala waterfall in Bandarabala is an attractive place for tourists. However, the waterfall has totally dried up due to prevailing dry weather in its catchment areas. This waterfall is situated in Alluthotta area, very close to Badulakalama main road. Meanwhile, agricultural experts analysts say that cultivation of the Maha season should start during the upcoming inter-monsoon period to minimize the influence of the dry weather. About 65,000 acres of paddy lands have faced the threat of drought at present. This may cause heavy loss of harvest. Engineer in charge of the Rupavahini reservoir, Jiva Gunasekara, says that the reservoir has faced severe water crisis after 20 years at present.
According to him, the capacity of water in the reservoir has decreased up to 1.8%. Water capacity has decreased up to 3,511 acre-feet at present. The engineer in charge says the crisis of drinking water will arise in the future due to this reason. Even wild animals are facing severe shortages of water at present. The engineer requests the public to consume water sparingly. Deputy Speaker Ajit Rajapaksa says the water crisis arisen in the Rupavahini area should be resolved with the consensus of all relevant parties.
Water bills have been revised with effect from the 1st of this month. The relevant Gazette notification was issued yesterday under the signature of the Minister of Water Supply, Jeevan Thundaman. Water charges have been increased by this revision. The Gazette notification states that the water bills of some of the recipient families and estate workers have not been increased. According to the revised charges, at present a sum of 20 rupees is charged per unit for the first 5 units. This charge has been increased up to 60 rupees per unit. Charges have also been increased for public places, parks, government schools, religious places, government-approved charities and government hospitals. In addition, the monthly fixed charge has also been increased. Further, the sewerage charges for public has also been increased with effect from 1st of this month. Deputy General Manager, National Water Supply and Drainage Board, P.R. Padmanatha, said that the board spends 140 rupees to produce a unit of purified water per unit, that is 1,000 litres. However, the present charges are very low compared to the expenditure of the board. In addition, the water board has to bear an extra cost as the electricity charges have been increased recently. The prices of chemicals and other equipment have also been increased. The board has to pay a sum of 32 billion rupees as loan installments to the treasury and local banks annually. This price revision was done to cover these extra expenses.
A complaint was made at the CID today of certain elements are attempting to arouse communal hate based on improper singing of the national anthem. The complaint was lodged by human rights activist Prasanga Fernando and Loika Senaka Pereira. At the CID premises this morning, they said that the investigation should be carried out to unveil such conspiracies. Meanwhile, singer Umara Singhawansha published a letter on social media. She stressed that she has not intended to distort or misinterpret the words of the national anthem and expressed her heartfelt and sincere apologies to any persons who was hurt or affected due to her style of singing the national anthem.
For the first time in the entire South Asia, State Tourism Ministry of Sri Lanka has won the bid to host the World Travel Awards 2023 Grand Finale Gala Ceremony in Colombo on the 15th of December. Participants from 117 countries, including all the sectors of travel, that's hotel, tour operators, airlines and destinations. This was secured with a lot of effort by the State Minister, Dana Gamage, and from the State Tourism Ministry of Sri Lanka.
These two gentlemen who have been here today, who have visited me, and we've had quite a long discussion about the World Travel Award, and they are actually in Dubai at the moment and they are based there, and this is the 30th anniversary, and to have the 30th anniversary, I think it is an absolute honor and a pleasure to be able to hold the World Travel Awards in Sri Lanka this year. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank the two of you for being here today and giving me the opportunity to speak to you. And also we are looking forward to working towards a better Sri Lanka and to work towards tourism. And as we had a discussion already, Mr. Graham and also Mr. Mike has the intention of promoting Sri Lanka and bringing Sri Lanka to an upper level than it has ever been before. So that itself has given, I think, me a lot of encouragement, and I would like to thank you again for being here and for giving us this opportunity, and which we, with great honour, accept.
You're an island, you have rich culture, you have a mixed economy now, but the biggest investment this country can make is with its main asset, and the main asset is the Sri Lankan people. You have so many assets and the people, we just have to get this over to the 8 billion people that are out there to show them what a marvellous country we have that the United Arab Emirates doesn't have one of. Right? You have 2 Amman resorts here in this country, fantastic properties. You have wellness, you have culinary, you have many, many assets. But the main aspect is the people of Sri Lanka, a marvellous hospitality. And I look forward very much to coming here in December with our event and certainly promoting this country to our best of our ability. Please help us. Everybody can be involved with helping Minister here. She cannot do it on herself. She needs all of the people of Sri Lanka to say, let's welcome the world. Let's make this a great tourism destination and show what power you have here.
Minister Dr. Bandula Ravana says that socializing hate through social media should be prevented in order to create a righteous society. He made these remarks participating in a program held in Colombo today. This program was held under the title of Unlocking the Power of Media for Media Professionals and Heads of Media Institutions. This program was jointly organized by the United Nations Development Program and the Ministry of Mass Media.
Despite the formidable challenges that threaten its survival, this branch of journalism plays a critical role in the shaping and influencing the public opinion. Today's segment of the workshop that began yesterday is part of the broader project known as Counting Hate Speech through Education and Advocacy for improving social cohesion in Sri Lanka, assisted by the UN Peace Building Fund. It aims at challenging the capacities of both journalists and media administrators of the country on responsible journalism and identifying and countering misinformation and disinformation.
Freedom of expression, we know, is essential to create inclusive, democratic societies. It's also important to create entrepreneurship and competition and to learn new ideas, even if we don't agree with the ideas that we hear. But by enabling and empowering individuals to voice their opinions, which the print media really does, you enable them to access information and to participate in the decision making in the society. And that also lays the foundation for an inclusive and healthy and also prosperous society.
Sri Lanka Export Development Board has implemented a number of new programs to attract grassroots level entrepreneurs to export sector under the national program of creating new exporters. The Sri Lanka Export Development Act No. 40 of 1979 completed 44 years on the 1st of this month. Then Minister of Trade and Industry, late Lalit Atulathmudali, pioneered to formulate this act. At present, 24 advisory committees are functioning under the Export Development Board. The board organizes international trade fairs, trade envoy discussions, financial concessions, providing information for the success of businesses and many other guidance to attract local exporters to international market. The Export Development Board has also prepared new national export strategic plan to create new industries and services rather than the conventional exports like tea, rubber and gemstones. Programs also implemented to encourage agricultural exports. Dr. Kingsley Bernard, Chairman Export Development Board, said the measures are being taken to increase the value of agricultural products and release it to the market for exports. Such measures has been aimed especially for small-scale enterprises. The Export Development Board has focused its special attention to enhance the women in small and medium-scale entrepreneurship development. Chairman of the Export Development Board said further that there is immense economic contribution by the small and medium enterprises to large number of countries in the world. But the contribution by the small and medium enterprises to Sri Lankan economy is considered less when compared to other countries. Therefore, special programs are initiated to create and support small and medium scale entrepreneurs. The Sri Lanka Export Development Board is taking measures to promote export development in the country by exploring new sectors that are strategically important.
Construction of the container operations building of the eastern terminal of the Colombo harbour started today under the patronage of Minister Nimal Siripal de Silva. This project costs $580 million. The length of this eastern terminal is 1,300 meters. Construction of this four-storied building will be completed by February next year. The needed terminal cranes have also been ordered at present upon the completion of the container terminal. The current container operation capacity of 8.5 million per year is expected to be increased up to 35 million. Minister Nimal Siripal de Silva said that the port will be developed as a transshipment hub. Under the leadership of the current president, the country is heading towards an economic stability, and due to such reasons, the development measures could be initiated. Minister further said that the country did not have sufficient money and foreign reserves to recover the country's growth. If there is a development to be conducted in the terminal, gratitude should be delivered to President Ranil Wickremesinghe. A large crowd, including officials of Sri Lanka Ports Authority, were present at this occasion.
Senior lecturer Dr. Sajith Edirisinghe says invisible plastic particles in the environment may cause cancers and many other ailments. He revealed this fact at a press briefing held in Colombo today. Microplastic particles contaminated with toxic chemicals and heavy metals enter into the human body through water and food we consume and the air that we breathe. A research has revealed about 5 grams of such particles per week enter the body of a person. The major source of plastic entering into the body is through inhalation. These microplastics are absorbed by the tissues and cells of the human body and may cause distortion of genes. Dr. Sajith Edirisinghe says that this is a very harmful condition that causes cancers and numerous ailments. Infants and small children are the most vulnerable for this situation. State Minister of Foreign Affairs Tharaka Balasurya says that there is a growth of political and economic relations between Sri Lanka and the international community. He made this comment at a press briefing held in the Government Information Department today. It was held under the title of What is in the Trend in Current Foreign Relations of Sri Lanka. Tharaka Balasurya, State Minister of Foreign Affairs, said that Sri Lanka should have trade connections with all countries economically. If partner countries get economic benefits from trade, it is better to be connected economically. As the President has pointed out, there is a need to be connected economically with countries in the South Asian Seas Programme. If Sri Lanka is going to be entered to the South Asian Seas Programme, then Sri Lanka should have agreements with each country in that initiative.
Chairman of the University Grants Commission, Senior Professor Sampath Amaratunga, says that if a correct economic policy is implemented, the country can be developed within 10 years. He made these remarks at a parliamentary special committee meeting today. The committee has been appointed to look into the causes for the financial bankruptcy of the country and to make proposals and recommendations to overcome the situation. The special committee convened at the parliamentary complex recently under the patronage of parliamentarian Sagar Karyavasam. The committee had called for economic experts who represent all universities in the country. Many senior lecturers and professors expressed their views at the meeting. Senior Professor Sampath Amaratunga pointed out that it is important to prepare policies to increase the production of economy of Sri Lanka. He also expressed that the political stability in the country is a major cause to attract foreign investors to the island.
The Supreme Court ordered to summon the fundamental right petition filed by senior DIG Ajit Rohana on the 4th of September for consideration. This order was issued when the petition was summoned today. The petitioner had requested the Supreme Court to issue an order to annul the transfer given to him without citing any justifiable reason. Although the petition was scheduled to be considered today, the panel of judges informed that the petition was postponed up to the 4th of next month as there was another case to be heard today. The Supreme Court also postponed the petition filed by the Intercompany Employees Union to the 9th of next month. The petition was filed by the President of the Union and several others requesting a prevention order to be issued against the slash of government debts taken by the EPF and ETF funds in the debt optimization process. The Attorney General told the Supreme Court today that former IGP Pujit Jayasundara had deliberately neglected his official duties by not preventing the Easter Sunday attack even though he had received prior information. Additional Solicitor General Priyantha Navana presented these facts appearing for the Attorney General when his appeal was taken into consideration today. The Attorney General had requested an order to annul the decision taken by the 3-member panel of Colombo High Court to acquit former IGP Pujit Jayasundara from the allegations levelled against him. His appeal was considered today by a 5-member panel of Supreme Court judges including Preeti Padman Surasena, Yasantha Kodagoda and Kumudini Wickramasinghe, Mahinda Samewardana and Arjuna Obesekara. Welcome back. We move on to news overseas now. Foreign media reports that police raids targeting drug gangs in 3 Brazilian states have left at least 45 people dead. In the latest operation in Rio de Janeiro, police said they returned fire in a shootout in the Complexo da Penha area, killing at least 10. Earlier, 16 people died in clashes during a 5-day police raid in Sao Paulo state dubbed Operation Shield. And in the northeastern state of Bahia, officials say 19 suspects have been killed since last week. 58 people were arrested during the operation in Sao Paulo state, which began after a special forces police officer was killed on Thursday in the coastal town of Guarujá, and police seized 385 kilograms of narcotics as well as guns. The special operation in Guarujá was criticized by Brazil's justice minister, who said the police's reaction was not proportional to the crime committed. Amnesty International said that Guarujá police said raid showed clear signs of seeking vengeance for the death of a police officer.
Niger's co-leader has declared that he will not bow down to pressure to reinstate the deposed President Mohamed Bazoum, criticizing the sanctions imposed by the West African leaders as illegal and inhumane, and urging his countrymen to get ready to defend their nation. General Abdurrahmane Chikani's comments issued in a televised address yesterday came as the defense chiefs of the economic community in the West African states met in the neighboring Nigeria to discuss the crisis in Niger. The regional bloc has imposed severe economic sanctions on Niger and threatened the use of force if Bazoum's presidency is not restored by August 6th.
Ukrainian authorities says that a Russian drone strike has hit Ukrainian port facilities at Izmail on the river Danube. A grain warehouse and an elevator for loading grain were damaged. Almost 40,000 tons of grain destined to African countries, China and Israel, were damaged. Russia began targeting Ukraine's ports after abandoning a UN deal that enabled the safe grain export between both countries across the Black Sea. Romanian President Klaus Iohannis condemned Russia's continued attacks on Ukrainian infrastructure in the proximity of Romania as unacceptable.
Typhoon Kahanun pounded Japan's southwestern Okinawa and Kagoshima prefectures with heavy rain and gusty winds, leaving 2 dead, and moving so slowly its damaging impact could be prolonged. Japan Meteorological Agency said that Typhoon Kaon was heading northwest in the East China Sea as of early afternoon today, with sustained winds of 162 kilometers per hour and gusts of up to 234 kilometers per hour. Japan Broadcasting Corporation issued that elderly woman and an old man has died during this typhoon.
China's cyberspace regulator said that children under the age of 18 should be limited to a maximum of 2 hours a day on their smartphones. The Cyberspace Administration of China said it wanted providers of smart devices to introduce so-called minor mode programs that would bar users under 18 from accessing the internet on mobile devices from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Providers would also have to set time limits under the proposed reforms. Users aged 16 to 18 would be allowed 2 hours a day. Children aged 8 to 16 would get 1 hour, while children under 8 would be allowed just 8 minutes. But the Cyberspace Administration of China said service providers should allow parents to opt out of the time limits for their youngsters. It is also reported that investors are not impressed by the decision, which led to the fall of shares in Chinese tech firms for trade in Hong Kong a short period after the CSE published its draft guidelines.
On to sports news, Sri Lanka netball team has recorded the first victory against Barbados team at the Netball World Championship tournament in 2023 in South Africa.
Barbados team is at the 14th position in world ranking. Sri Lanka is at the 15th place. Sri Lanka beat Barbados 60 to 56 points, and this is the first time Sri Lanka defeated a foreign team in its 20 years netball history. Sri Lanka played in the Group E and placed in the 4th position.
Now the news, Sri Lanka has qualified for the 4x400 men's relay event at the World Athletic Championship. The tournament will commence on the 19th of this month in Hungary.
Sri Lankan players are at the 12th position, reporting best timing among the world teams. Sri Lankan players had these qualifications by achieving best timing at the Asian Athletic Tournament recently. The Sri Lanka relay team with Kalinga Kumarge, Rajitha Rajakarna, Aruna Darshan and Pabasara Niku also set new Sri Lankan records in that tournament. 16 teams have qualified for the World Championship Athletic Tournament at present.
ยังไม่เป็นทางการครับ
แล้วเหรียญทองได้แก่ทีมจากศรีลังกา
Inside that.
Meanwhile, sprinter Yupunabe Kun has decided not to take part in the World Championship Athletic Tournament this time, as he has not yet recovered from an injury. He has said that he took this decision with the aim of participating in the upcoming Asian Games. He expects to show his maximum skills at the Asian Games, which will be held in September.
That's it for tonight's English News Headphones. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
Have a pleasant night.